Howdy, howdy. We are live on First Contact Day, and we are celebrating with the big news, the announcement for Picard Season 3. I'm sure everyone has heard about it by now, but the Next Generation cast are returning in Season 3.
Sorry, I've been dying to let that out all day. I screamed and yelped at work, and people were looking at me like I was a crazy person. I just said...
it was right when I was going on my lunch break, so it kind of timed out perfectly. It was at 12 noon here in the Central Time Zone, so it was today was my first day back at work since COVID for 2 years. So it's kind of, grumpy for having to actually put on decent clothes and drive somewhere. But then, that was a great treat to get at 12 noon. And then I got to, go sit in my truck and watch it a bunch of times on my way to get lunch. But yeah, really, really cool to see. Brian, what was your reaction? What was going on when you saw this for the first time?
I was eating the first meal of the day, and at least for me, because I got up late, and I was excited. I guess you want my God's honest first reaction? No Wesley. That was my first reaction.
No Denise either. There's no Denise Crosby.
Yeah, they're both gonna be in it. Don't worry. They're just saving them.
I will be very upset if Wesley doesn't at least get a cameo, given all he's done to promote this new generation of Trek. It feels weird to invite everyone back but him to actually be properly full-on Star Trek. I mean, like it almost feels like, is he going to be able to do Ready Room when everybody else got to have a party without him?
They wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that to him. He and Denise Crosby might both be in it. They just don't get the top billing. I
think they're gonna have smaller parts. I think Sela might show up, Wesley might show up, but they're not gonna be in multiple episodes or as many episodes as these other people.
Joel, I'm calling it Barkley too. He's gonna be in it too. I'm gonna call it right now.
We have some people celebrating First Contact Day with us. We have Joel in the live audience. We have Jill47, Blue. A lot of our regulars are here, so thank you for joining us. And please be sure to chime in and let us know your thoughts and opinions on this. We're not going to go very long. I think we're just going to spend about 30 minutes talking about this because there's not a ton of information to go over. But I'm curious what everyone's reaction
salmon
is.
Cooking, so yeah.
I'm gonna grill up some salmon myself in a moment.
Awesome.
But yeah, I mean, I'm excited about it. I guess I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun. But as a big reunion season, I don't know. Are they going to go? Do you think they're going to go all retro, old school, and everyone's going to be exactly as we last remember them, or are they going to kind of push look, Riker and Troy aren't in Starfleet anymore, and look at all the things that have changed, and they're not like the people we remember, and whatnot. Which angle do you think they're going to push?
I'm sure they're all going to feel like it's been 30 years, or no, I guess it hasn't been that 20 years or 30.
Yeah,
30.
I'm pretty sure we're going to see updated versions of them.
23 years. Sorry, I can't math and talk at the same time.
Yeah,
Terry Metalis teased that, especially with Beverly, we won't be able to handle ourselves. So I have a feeling we'll see the Pasteur, or something like that. I think that
I don't want to see carbon copy stuff from All Good Things. I guess they kind of did that with Picard. They put him back on the Vineyard, but I'd rather it be different things.
It won't be carbon copy, but I do think that some of the things because he told them all what happened. So I don't think it will be carbon copy. I think that'll influence them, but you never know. Beverly might still have a command. I mean, the Pasteur might still be built. Those are still things, that could
it actually would make sense if, it seemed like she was pretty happy with where she ended up in life. So it would actually be almost disappointing if she doesn't end up commanding a starship, because there'll be this sort of feeling that she missed out.
I can picture her being happy doing other stuff.
Yeah, so. I know, but there will
Chief
be
of Starfleet Medical, perhaps.
Yeah, well, she already did that.
Yeah, that's right.
Season 2 for very weirdly, and then came back. But
yeah, whereas Riker wasn't happy, Worf wasn't happy. And so it makes sense to give them a different future than the one that we saw. But I think it'll feel vaguely disappointing if given that they were billing, oh look, Beverly's going to go off and do command stuff and command a starship. If like we find out that she never got to be a captain, I think would be disappointing.
Can I just point out Joel's comment about Barclay, by the way? Barclay is not a TNG character. He is a Voyager character. He appears in more Voyager episodes than Next Generation episodes, so they're saving him for whatever Voyager reunion show they do someday in the future.
I mean, that's legit, but then Troy, I guess, Troy is definitely not a Voyager character, but she was also on Voyager.
Yeah, she appears in like 170-something more episodes of TNG than Voyager.
Does Barclay really beat out his TNG appearances?
Yeah, I think
Voyager?
It's 6 and 10, but someone can double check that for me. I just saw someone talking about it on Twitter the other day, actually.
I think he certainly gets more meaty stuff to do in Voyager, as far as a role goes.
Jill says, but what about is probably not the ideal reaction, guys.
Hey, that wasn't my reaction. That was Brian.
Yeah, it's only because Will Wheaton has poured his heart and soul, and admittedly is getting paid to do so, into promoting new Trek. And it just feels like to not have him on board when he has become the spokesperson to some degree of this new world of Trek feels really odd.
Whereas if they said I don't think it's that odd. I don't think that he honestly I don't think he belongs in like that top lineup. I don't know. I wouldn't have put Wesley up there.
I mean, if they said I would rather. If it was a choice between if we could only afford Wesley or Geordi, I would say Wesley at this point. But so.
I don't think that choice is going to be a problem. That choice will be an issue. But, Father, we have hot off the presses from Terry Metalis, just tweeted 2 minutes ago. For those who are asking, no, these aren't just cameos. This is a proper send-off to the TNG crew. It's been a labor of love for so long. I hope you like what we've cooked up. And yes, Federation starships galore. I have been dreaming about, I've been saying, if you go back and watch any of the Starfleet boys, I've always wanted a Star Trek 6 for the TNG cast, and I feel like this is what it's going to be. It's going to be a similar kind of vibe where it's maybe not signatures at the end, but just like a proper,
they should do the signatures at the end.
They should do the signatures at the end. I agree. Yes,
no, I kind of feel like you might if you're going to get that many of them, you might as well lean into it and do a Star Trek 6. Apparently a season-long Star Trek 6, but sure, they've earned it.
Well, there's something else that Terry Metalis said earlier in the day, too, that I think kind of ties into that. But he said, I remember watching the premiere of Star Trek The Next Generation almost 34 years ago with my father, like it was yesterday. It was the spark that ignited my love for science fiction, so it's more fitting that the story of Jean-Luc Picard ends honoring the beginning with his dearest and most loyal friends from the USS Enterprise. It would be an understatement to say that giving these characters a proper send-off is an honor. The entire Star Trek Picard team and I can't wait for fans to experience the final high-stakes Starship-bound adventure in Season 3. And yeah, I'm pretty sure Season 3 is going to be set on the Stargazer just based on the pictures Terry Metalis has been tweeting for Season 3, and who knows, the Enterprise might even show up at some point. But
she has to. She's part of the crew. Yeah. She's part of the family.
Season 3 is going to be the Stargazer show, and it's going to have. I think it's going to have the Picard Motley crew alongside the TNG crew. I don't know what they're doing, but it's going to be Starship. Terry keeps talking about Starship. So yes, it's going to be back on board a ship.
I suppose it does make. I did think they were putting a lot of time and money into those Stargazer sets for how little so far they've used them. But if they knew they were going to use them in Season 3, then it makes a lot more sense. Even if they're going to redress it and call it the Enterprise J or whatever the heck we're up to. I gather Aaron's busy.
He might pop in later, but Braxton is telling us happy first contact day, so happy first contact day, Braxton. See you soon in Chicago. People should come to our meetup Saturday night at the Arc Bar, 7:30 p.m. Central. And Jill is saying, but we can have a 7 Barclay reunion in Picard. That would be cool, 2 Voyager characters, because I'm going to consider Barclay a Voyager character. Hi, Linda Marks. Jill did not like Brian's response about Geordi not being not as good of an idea to bring back as Wesley.
Yeah, like,
I mean,
I'm sorry,
I
Brian, but
prefer
like,
Borth, but I'm just trying to illustrate that I feel like Wesley has more of an interesting relationship with Picard than Geordi does. So,
Aaron is joining us in the comments. No need to apologize, Aaron. Happy to see you. And let's just go through like this short. I don't even remember how long it is. Was it like 30 seconds, maybe?
It's 1 minute and
1
24
minute?
seconds.
Let's
It's
just,
like it's a whole minute, Father.
But there isn't much that happens in it. Let's just run through it. We see Picard, I guess back in retirement on the chateau. Spoiler alert for season 2. They're going to fix the timeline.
Yeah, I know. That's it.
we
gonna
don't
make it
know
back.
that.
I mean, come on.
I don't know what
That could be the evil chateau.
I don't know what kind of note he's writing here, but he's signing it John Luke, so it must be something kind of personal. He doesn't sign it, Admiral Picard. It's John Luke. That was interesting. And he's wearing glasses, which is not unheard of in the Star Trek universe, but definitely rare. Does he have like the same allergy as Kirk from The Wrath of Khan?
The Retnex.
Retnex doesn't work on Android blood thing.
But he's indistinguishable from a human, so it should be all the same functions.
Well, I mean, yeah, but in theory, you just have to tell the body that, look, we injected Retnex into you. Click, and the body would act like that even without the hypo spray of Retnex. But
And we get some dialogue from Patrick Stewart saying, "I am not a man who needs a legacy." And then we hear the first returning voice is LeVar Burton as Geordi saying, "I think back on those days on the Enterprise and all the danger we rushed into." And we get this beautiful painting of the Enterprise, very similar to the a painting we actually saw on the Enterprise in Next Generation. But this is a new version. I think we all three are in agreement on that, right?
yes, this is probably painted right over, like they made a print and then because the angles and everything look very close. This one is much more noticeable brushwork. This one is much more paintbrushy than the one that Picard had in his ready room, which is the brushwork is finer and smoother and less looks less like an oil painting. So
Aaron is telling us that what he's signing looks like a wedding invitation, and Jill and Pastel Pirate are agreeing with him. So yeah, maybe he's getting married to Laris, who is going to be his one true love, not Beverly, and he's writing a letter to invite his dearest
the line
friend.
must be drawn here, no further. Father, that's not an invitation to a
marriage
wedding.
doesn't work. We know it doesn't work. It's going to end in a divorce. So. But we get the communicator sound effect, that chirp, and he looks up. I don't know if that's actually going to be in the show or if they're just trying to edit it like that. But he does.
I mean, he hears it, he looks up, and then he goes over to, like, why would his communicator chirp after
that's the chirp
Yeah,
they
who's
make when you
calling him?
push them. That's the chirp they make when you push them, just like Pike's communicator made the chirp it makes when you open it. And in both cases, the trailers are treating them like ringtones, when in fact they're the activation, the answering, the noise made for answering. You shut up. We don't need your sound effects.
But it's the TNG television era badge, not the film era.
But
badge.
without
It's
the
not
black trim around it.
It's not the one that he was playing around with in season 1.
Yeah, but I don't think it's the one he had in Next Gen either, because they had black trim around the outside, and I don't see any black trim when it's not so clear in this screen capture, but
I don't see the black trim either. They probably don't want us to notice that, though.
So that, like, the uniform is TNG era, but the badge would appear to be some sort of pre-TNG or some sort of uniform variation we never got to see, because that's a thing now. Who knows how many other uniforms we've missed that just never made it on screen. That have gone by.
There's a lot of inconsistency in the comm badges that you can see now on the Blu-rays. Now that
if only
shows
somebody
in
was
HD.
if only someone was selling screen accurate communicator badges for them to, like, be able to easily purchase and use in these shows. So
I can't say who it's from because he has a cease and desist order, but I have a screen accurate TNG badge that was made by an artist.
It looks pretty good.
yeah, it looks better than the one in the trailers.
Yeah, I love it. It's It's very cool.
But we also get a line from Patrick Stewart saying, "Those were the days." It's sounds the way they edit it sounds like it's in response to Geordi, and then we have Brent Spiner as who knows, is probably a new Soong at this point, maybe B4, maybe a new android. Who the hell can tell? But saying evolution is not an act of preservation; it's an addition. And then the voice that really got me excited was hearing Michael Dorn. And I was trying to pay close attention to kind of determine if this is new dialogue or old dialogue, because Geordi's saying, yeah, like I think back on those days on the internet, like that could have been from All Good Things. Then what Brent Spiner saying is like, well, did like Dr. Soong say that or something? But then like Worf, I was like, okay, this is new stuff. Clearly, this is new stuff. Worf saying it is clear sacrifice is required again, and that's when I got like goosebumps, because of all of the TNG characters, I was pretty sure we would see Gates before the end of Picard. I was pretty sure we would see LeVar. But the one who I thought might be the holdout was Michael Dorn, just because like I know he doesn't want to do the Worf makeup anymore, and he was asking for a lot of money to come back previously when they tried to get him for a cameo for something. So I was like, well, Michael Dorn might not want to do that at this point in his life. But when I heard that Worf voice, and just Worf being kind of my favorite character as a kid, I started off Spock was my favorite, and then Worf kind of took over the top spot during the height of DS9 and like seasons 5 and 6. But so I'm really, really happy that I'm going to get to see more Worf.
I have
really
to ask,
me.
is Worf a TNG character or a DS9 character?
He's both.
He's both.
I mean, he has in more TNG, but
he's much better in DS9.
Yes, and I think if you look at like the screen time, he tends to get a higher percentage of screen time in DS9. So I'm curious what the discrepancy is there with like if you add like total number of minutes on screen, it might be a pretty narrow margin.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Has the actor said which show he preferred to be on, or does he kind of avoid?
I know his favorite episode is a DS9 episode.
All right.
Soldiers of the Empire.
Yeah. I mean, he gets so much more to chew on, but I also get the idea he's better friends with the Next Generation cast. So
yeah, that's probably what he would say. He's probably like, I had more fun on TNG, but I did better work on DS9. Let's just go ahead and put words in his mouth.
We've got a live first contact day salmon on screen here. There you go. I'll be eating this. If Gates McFadden is watching, she loves it when I eat on screen. So
she doesn't. She made fun of you for doing that.
She thought it was great.
You haven't really made it until Gates McFadden has made fun of you.
But speaking of Gates McFadden, we do get a line of her saying, "John Luke, when the galaxy comes calling, you love it." And then we get a glimpse at Riker saying, "Aren't we?" No, he has a line of dialogue before it cuts to his face when he says, "Aren't we a little overdue for a good old fashioned road trip?" And Troy saying, I promise you will not be alone. So basically all the stuff saying, duty will be required. I remember the good old days on the Enterprise. You love it when the galaxy comes calling. It's time for a road trip. You're not going to be alone. They're basically telling us, like, yes, it's going to be a big group adventure. It's going to be Picard plus his nearest, dearest friends. And then we get the close-up on Riker saying, ready? And then Picard saying, as ever. And they're holding up phasers because they're going to go into some old man action, it looks like. Star Trek Generation style. Let's run around on the bridge and punch another old man.
To shoot people, which is really what the Next Generation was all about. I guess, do we want to place any guess as to who the hell Spiner's going to be playing? Because the choices are so many.
A Soong or an android.
He's gonna play the B4 and Lore. And Alton soon. They're all coming back. They're all coming back, but not Data.
I think he doesn't want to do stuff with makeup anymore either. I think that's kind of why they created more human Soongs for him to play in Star Trek Picard. So I think he actually is like legit done with Data, but who knows?
Yeah. I mean, there might be a Data cameo or something, but
Data probably could come out in flashbacks, or maybe Geordi has a Data hidden in his basement or something like that.
Well, the thing is that I don't think, as he said, I don't think Brent Spiner wants to do that. It's expensive to do all the CGI and not entirely convincing to try to make him look young. I think there's a cameo just to say, look, there's a little bit of Data in the season is not. It makes some sort of sense, but I doubt there're going to be a lot of Spiner playing Data in this. There'll probably be more Will Wheaton playing Wesley in this than Spiner playing Data. I'll plant that flag. So.
Aaron is joking around in the comments saying he would love for, or just saying it's clear that Picard is marrying Pulaski. And Jill47 says she would love if Pulaski was able to attend the wedding, but I don't think that'll happen just because Diane Diana Moldar? Diane Moldar, but she says that she's done with Star Trek. She never wants to come back. So I thought that she should have been in Nemesis at the Riker Troy wedding with Riker's dad. Wouldn't that have been cute if we saw the two of them sitting at a table together?
That would have been amazing.
But I don't think she wanted to do it back then. And if we're going to talk about missed opportunities in Nemesis, we'll be here all night.
I guess I kind of know the answer to this, but why didn't they why wasn't this saved and dropped as a sting for Picard at the end of season 2? That just feels like it would have made a hell of a sting at the end of the credits of season 2.
Because I don't think they probably felt that they needed to get the news out now before the Star Trek mission Chicago, and that way like the actors would be able to talk about it. Or maybe I don't know, maybe they're gonna have to do like some well, they have everything shot.
Father, we have someone in the transporter room.
Oh, do we? Oh, look, Aaron is here.
Yep, there we go. Yay!
Hey.
Howdy, Aaron.
I was finishing up some work, so I am now available. And then I'm going to go cook my own salmon.
Sweet. Aaron, do you want to tell us your reaction to the news, what you were doing when you saw it, and then what did you think about it?
What was I doing when I saw it? Probably working. It's like, that's been my day. I'm taking today off. It's first contact day. No, here. All this stuff got shoved at me. No, I was really excited. I knew somebody who would be very, very happy about Beverly, so I let her know first. And then, I too tried to figure out, was some of that old audio, or, like the first one with Geordi, I wondered if that was actually from All Good Things, but I couldn't remember.
Yeah, no, I think it's all new.
Yeah. And then Terry Metalis just tweeted about 15 minutes ago that they're not cameos. It's a proper send-off of the TNG crew. It's been a labor of love for so long. I hope you like what we've got cooked up. And yes, Federation starships galore.
Yay.
So, I'm hoping to see a new Olympic class or updated.
Yeah, that's what we've been talking about, like especially if we have Captain Crusher in command of it. Or Aaron, as we were talking earlier today, but as you speculated, maybe the divorce did happen in this time. Like there's been enough time that Picard has been kind of absent from the spotlight that it's possible
they haven't talked about it at all. I mean, it's not, her name has literally never come up. So
Yeah.
I mean, the implication, or I think the suggestion in Picard season 1 is that after the Romulan Nova, he kind of just went into seclusion, but he could totally have had time for a marriage to form and fall apart in those 2 decades.
People did it during the pandemic, so why not?
Yeah, but I am glad to get that confirmation. I kind of thought, by the way, that they worded this, by these actors are joining the cast. It's like, oh yeah, they're going to be billed as regulars. They're going to be in multiple, perhaps all 10 episodes. It's impressive they were able to shoot all of that without it leaking. And if there is going to be any Denise Crosby or Will Wheaton, I think, okay, in their case it will be cameos, but these are going to be our series regulars.
It was mentioned that this is the TNG Star Trek 6. The original opening for Star Trek 6 was going to be Kirk running around recruiting all of the crew back for this mission to Kronos. Do you think we're going to see Picard and either La Serena or Stargazer flying around collecting everybody?
That'd be cool. Yeah, you have like the Stargazer go. I wouldn't want them to draw it out. Do all that in one episode. Don't give me one episode for everyone's recruitment. But
I mean, part of me says we're gonna have this big focused episode about each character as we go through. But
but we only have a 10-episode season, so.
I mean.
Do you think we'll see the Enterprise then? Yeah. A version of the Enterprise, whatever.
We will see. I can't imagine they're she's part of the cast. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I have a feeling we'll see her again and find out what she's been doing. They teased at it. Even Chabon was like, "What is the Enterprise doing?" You know, they keep like teasing at it.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
I think that's when we'll get her is in season 3.
Would
It'd be cool to see the
would
Titan too.
Yeah.
we be
IRL.
Oh, true.
Sorry.
would we be down for Captain Crusher commanding the Enterprise?
I suppose, but it kind of made more sense for her to be in command of a medical ship. So I think if they were going to do anything with her in command of a ship, they'd probably go that way with it. Worf. A lot of people have said like they want to see Worf in command of the Enterprise, but I just have a hard time picturing him as the captain. I can picture him as a first officer, but I have a hard time seeing him as captain of the Enterprise.
Cisco said it wasn't going to happen, so
Yeah. Well, he said it probably wouldn't happen.
yeah. I know
I think-
it's fuzzy, but it's a
I
Star
think
Trek.
for me, Geordi would make sense as the captain of the Enterprise, or
He
they
could
may-
he could be on the
yeah.
Challenger. All these people command
Oh, true.
things
That's
in
right. I
like
forgot
other
about that.
novels and stuff. I'd like to see Worf doing stuff with the Klingons, like he was supposed to be doing until Nemesis was like, we're just going to ignore that and put him back in Starfleet.
They never said he wasn't in the canonical version of the film. So, the
Maybe
deleted
Picard
scene.
gets the Stargazer back, or Ace, not back, but
Yeah, we kind of don't need an Enterprise at this point, but I don't know. Maybe there's enough
Yeah.
demand for the Enterprise that we'll see it. I don't think the Enterprise is going to play a big role in the show. Like, I don't think it's going to be people on the Enterprise because they probably don't want to have two shows about the Enterprise at the same time with Strange New Worlds and with Picard both getting new seasons next year. And also, supposedly, a fourth Kelvin movie next year as well. That'll have an Enterprise there. So that might be Enterprise overload if we have 3 Enterprises. But
And
yeah,
I
it could
tried-
show
actually
up.
gets thrown into the future, the 32nd
Yeah.
century, and that Enterprise is there. No.
I'm not
And
sure.
I was
had
gonna say. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I had an idea. I'm not sure I actually like this idea, but if we're getting the whole gang back together, do we want them to go explore what happened to that saucer section on Viridian?
No, that would be
We know what happened
That would
to
be a
it.
waste.
Okay, I mean the visuals of walking through a rotted out plant encrusted
If they need to go there-
version of the old classic sets.
Yeah, they could do like Rise of Skywalker, like go through the old remains.
I
or
mean,
something.
it would be visually
That would be
stunning.
fine. Yeah,
They
they
already-
need to go get something.
But
off of that.
we know that
Yeah.
she's the saucer's at the museum. So post generation, she was salvaged and taken to
Was
the.
that stated? I sorry, I missed.
It's
it.
stated
it's
like
first
in
first
the,
time I've ever heard of that.
in the Apocrypha. It's
Oh,
not on.
okay,
It's not
yeah.
canon yet, but I
Okay.
feel like that's gonna
But-
be the. Yeah.
in 10 Forward, there are rescued panels from the 10 Forward on the ship
Yeah.
that are on the wall going up the stairs. So
Yeah.
I got
Picard's
that from
like,
somewhere.
I don't need these archaeological treasures. Where's my
Yeah.
photo album? Guinan is
Yeah.
like packing her 4th shuttlecraft full of crap. You know,
I-
I'm taking everything. Do you know how much
Linda-
I can sell this for on Space eBay?
Linda Marks in our live audience is saying Kira is captain of the Enterprise, but no, I want to see General Kira in command of Deep Space Nine if we ever get back over to the Bejor
Yeah.
sector in any live action or even in the animated stuff. I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Father, I predict that they're gonna. I predict the Enterprise E will be a training vessel at Starfleet Academy, and they'll have to steal her.
Oh, they're gonna
this
do they're
mission.
gonna do like the Wrath of Khan to the Enterprise and make her a training
Make her
ship.
a training vessel, yeah, and that she's already been decommissioned, and we'll find out that Enterprise F is in full. She's the one out there.
You know,
so it
for
might
a
be,
long time, I thought there was no way they would bring the Enterprise F from Stowe, from Star Trek Online,
But they're
into,
gonna do
into the
it, I
canon.
think.
But
They could
now
do it.
I could totally see them doing that with the Olympic class, which I'm not in love with the Olympic class, but I certainly wouldn't mind if they canon-fied it.
Lower Deck seems to have teased at a stealing the Enterprise or the Cerritos or whatever sort of thing. So maybe it's connected to that somehow.
Does anyone know if I assume the numbers of people playing a Star Trek Online have gone up since Star Trek has become a big thing again?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, people have been playing it for 10 years, and so they keep making new content for it. So, yeah, I'm sure there's... if it hasn't gone up, then it's at least, maintained
All right.
a pretty good number. We do need to go ahead and wrap things up very quickly. There's not like a ton to pour over here and analyze, but I just want to ask all of y'all, Do you think that this is a good idea to, take the TNG and do like kind of like this big reunion season? Is there like a chance of kind of spoiling fond memories of any of these characters if you don't like the presentation in this new season, or are they kind of like pushing, Rios and Elnor and Soji out of the spotlight to make room for these classic characters, or are there concerns, or are you mostly on board with this?
I have no concerns really, because I do think, based on what I've seen so far with the way Terry Matalas and crew are handling it, that we won't lose our motley crew. I think it's going to be there'll be a compliment to the crew. I think it'll be neat to see them maybe even pair up with like the classic characters or whatever the TNG film characters.
Sure. Like if Soji and Geordi are like talking about Data, like,
exactly.
Oh, so you knew my dad, tell me about him.
Right.
Like, yeah, I was his best friend.
Yeah, and stuff like exactly. Stuff
Yeah, that'd be
like
cool.
that.
That'd be great. I hadn't thought of that.
I guess it depends on what their goal is. Is their goal is to do basically the proper TNG swan song film, the Star Trek Undiscovered Country for the next generation that they never got to have, then yeah, bring the next generation cast on. That's the point of this story. And yeah, the Picard characters are probably going to be a little more supporty, but they had 2 seasons and this is what we're doing with our final season. Okay. If they are trying to make Picard and keep the new characters in focus and bring all these others on, and it's trying to be a season of Picard and not a swan song to the next generation, I think things could get really messy, and I hope they know what they're doing. If they're trying to juggle all those balls at the same time, that sounds like it could get messy. So
I would say they run the risk of becoming Discovery in that sense, where it's like we have so many characters and we have a big thing that we're going to talk about, so we don't ever get to the character development really, and that could happen. Although
and you end up with like Beverly in the Star Trek movies, where she's in all the films, but she never gets to do anything.
Or Troy in most of the TV show.
yeah, and I don't, bring them on if you've got something for them to do, but just bringing them on and having them stand around on whatever the starship of the season is will be a little disappointing. And so I'm happy with them setting Picard aside and saying effectively Picard was 2 seasons and now we're doing Next Generation, big, huge mini-series finale, all, thing. Yeah, sure. If that's what we're doing, let's do it.
Cool. Aaron, what about you? What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I think I think it's a good idea. I trust these people that they're actually going to make it so it doesn't all crash and collide together. It seems like, especially after last night talking with the Okudas and Doug Drexler, and just they really they're fans, so they want it to be what we want it to be, I think, and very much so.
You were at the presentation of Star Trek: The Motion Picture Director's Cut in 4K at the Paramount lot and got to talk with people that are working on the season of Star Trek Picard.
And there was a couple people who I couldn't get to that were there. David Blaze, is that how you pronounce his last name?
Blass, I believe.
Blass, yeah. Of course, that would be great. I wouldn't even say his name right. And Terry Matalas. They were both there, but everybody, it was one of those, like, you want to go up and you don't want to interrupt, and so there was just never a window to, like, naturally talk to them. So I'm like, okay, forget it. But
yeah, you just stand there next to them, like, looking awkward, like,
yeah, that's what happened, and I just sort of wandered away.
Yeah,
just like, done.
Slowly step away.
Yeah.
But I agree with you and with what Starfleet Boy and Brian were saying also. But yeah, I'm on board this, and a lot of it is because I trust Terry Matalas and David Blass. I think Terry's shown a lot of cool features as a writer running Picard season 2 that kind of has won me over, like, any concerns I might have had going into the season, getting a new showrunner. I think that Blass will make sure that the show looks incredible and using a lot of that old school talent like the Okudas and Doug Drexler. So I'm enthused about that. And I'm kind of sad that they're not working on any more Star Trek right now.
Yeah.
That it sounds like there's no plans to do anything in the California area anymore. It's just like so cheaper to shoot everything in Toronto. So even with the tax credit, so unless we have like Patrick Stewart demanding a show be shot in California, it's not going to happen. So sad to hear that. But I'm glad we're getting like this last hurrah here with season 3 of Picard, and it's kind of like in Metalis I trust. And so I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the rest of season 2. I'm still loving season 2, and
Yes.
we got something cool to look forward to next
That's right,
year.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart will announce at the next Comic-Con, we're doing Picard 2.
Isn't that what season 2 is?
No,
No.
like Picard 2. or
Picard Phase 2.
Yeah, or
Phase 2.
Picard Part 2.
Yeah.
Linda Marks in our live audience is saying she would prefer a Picard season 3 to a TNG farewell movie of 10 episodes.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I can see that point of view, and I might even, I don't know, after seeing that they clearly just want to make this a nostalgia tour, and maybe they should just go for that after watching this season of Picard and not try to fight against it. And there's lots of other Star Trek, so it's not like it's the end of the world if this is a bit back, retro looking. I do want to. I did have this thought. Season 3 of Picard now with even less Elnor. So
Now we know why
our favorite
he's-
character.
Now we know why he was like going to all the cons and stuff while they were shooting season 3. It's because like he's not going to be in it very much.
yeah.
But yeah, so that's really cool. Please comment if you're watching this later and let us know how you feel about it. And just want to remind everyone that this weekend, Starfleet Boy and I will be at Star Trek Mission Chicago. I'm going to be doing some streams from there. We're still going to get the Tex-Trek show out live Friday night at 7 p.m. And you can always listen to that as a podcast wherever you get your podcast. I'm going to go ahead and shut things down now. But until next time, as always, live long and prosper, y'all.
Happy First Contact Day.
Happy First Contact Day, yeah.